Hello, I'm Joshua Ranger, UW Oshkosh Archivist, and today I'm going to be talking to you about using the federal statistical census publications. As you may know, every decade the United States government counts the country's residents in what's called a decennial census. While today most people respond to the census through a mail-in form, in the past a census was conducted in person, with a census taker visiting residences and asking questions and writing down the answers. In another video, I talk about access to these actual written down answers. These are known as the manuscript census. Here I'm only talking about the anonymized data. Because once the census is completed, all that demographic information on the forms is stripped of its names and then counted, tabulated, and worked into statistical tables that are published in a variety of reports. Those reports are the statistical census and they're used by federal, state, and local governments to guide policy, determine congressional districts, and to allocate resources. Now, historians use census data like this in the study of populations, since demographic makeup of a community can be critical to understanding a host of historical phenomena. For the purposes of your research, I recommend you use the digitized copies of census reports printed in the years after each of the decennial censuses. There are a host of reports that came out after every census, and they change from decade to decade. Some deal with industry and agriculture, some about housing, but there will always be a report or reports on the basic numbers of the population. These reports contain information on the country as a whole, and then broken down by state, with county level and larger city level broken down further. The population reports would have information on a host of characteristics, including race. Now, the subject of race or color has been probably one of the most debated items in the census, but counting black people was the business of the census since the very beginning in 1790. Still, over the years, the terminology has changed, and in 1870, other races like Chinese and Indian were included. In 1890, concepts of mixed race, including quadroon and octoroon, were included as well. Now, while the countings were never exact, for the most part, you can get an idea of the population and percentages of black and white peoples across the Jim Crow southern states and counties by using the main population reports of the census from 1870 on. You can also dive into other specialty reports if you'd like to find out unique information about home ownership, occupations, literacy, and other data points. I'm recommending you go straight to the census.gov site to view these publications. I have created direct links to the populations reports that I believe you'd want the most for racial statistical information. But again, it's possible there are other reports you might be interested in, and so I've added this link here for you to go look for your own. Now, these scans of the original reports are broken down into smaller PDFs. They're not searchable. You'll have to browse them as if you had a book in front of you. Each book's a little different, and you'll have to hunt a little bit to find comparable information from the different years. Okay, so let's assume that I'm interested in 1880, and I'm interested in the population, white and black, for different counties, let's say in Alabama. I go to this report, and I'll see that there's lots of different sections here, including general population, but that's not what I'm interested in because I want it by race. And I see here that there is a table, table 5, in this section by race and by counties. And that's what I'm interested in. I get in there, I have to scroll down to look for table 5. And I start seeing, okay, I made it. And I'm interested in Alabama. I got Alabama here, and I can see for all the different counties in the state of Alabama, the white population, black population, as well as Chinese and Indian peoples in each one of these states. Now, if we switch over to 1920, we'll see that the report is different. It's different every year, but generally there'll be something in there that'll give you a pretty good clue about what you need to look for. We're interested in Alabama, so we go there, and sure enough, Alabama's the first one, and we start looking through here. We see a whole state populations, but we're interested more in different counties. And you start scrolling through, and eventually you get to um, different counties and the population. And here it's broken down by age. And so, again, the data changes from year to year, but you'll find it there. And that's the statistical census. And I wish you good luck.